it's really the experience and what it took for the customer to get that end product from us. And a lot of accounting firms, again, they're not particularly customer service focused. You email them or call them. 3 weeks later, you finally get a call back, if at all, and they didn't even answer the question that you asked. So for us, we try to, again, focus on the customer experience, make it as easy as possible, as thorough as possible.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here with Matt Remuzzi, who is the CEO and founder of CapForge. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good. Hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah, tell me a little bit about CapForge. What do y'all do there?
Yep. So CapForge is a small business bookkeeping and tax firm. I started it about 12 years ago out of the spare bedroom when I realized, as a longtime entrepreneur, this was an area that, I was having trouble finding good providers, people with good customer service, good transparent pricing, quality work. And, having an MBA and an accounting background, I figured this was something I could jump in and do. And here we are 12 years later, and it's been going great.
I love it. I love it. And tell me a little bit about when you engage with your clients, what is that experience like? What are they coming to you with? Accounting is one of these areas where you can really be a business advisor to a client. So tell me a little bit about how you approach that with your customers.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a small business owner myself, I'm always interested in, tell me about your business. What are you trying to do? What are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? A lot of times we'll have a 30, 45-minute conversation before we even get to, and by the way, you have some accounting needs, you're looking for some bookkeeping support, or you're looking for help in tax strategies and so on. Just kind of understanding, building the rapport and understanding how we can serve them beyond just the accounting to achieve whatever goals it is that they're looking for. So we try to have a really advisory type relationship with our clients beyond just the basics. But, we get into it with the bookkeeping. They may have had a bookkeeper, or they may have been trying to do it themselves, but not really getting useful information out of it. A lot of people think of bookkeeping as, well, I got to do that so I can pay my taxes once a year. But really, bookkeeping is an excellent management tool to see, is revenue growing month over month? Are margins staying steady? And, just making sure that the business is on track. And then, of course, on the tax side, you want to pay the lowest amount possible. You don't want to just kind of get the bill from your CPA in April and go, hey, here, pay this. So we try to be proactive. We try to be advisory as much as anything else with our customers.
That makes a lot of sense. And so tell me a little bit about the profile of the clients that you work with. You mentioned small businesses, but such a broad category. Like
Right.
who are they, are they local businesses? Are they SaaS businesses, e-commerce? Are they, in real estate? Tell me a little bit about the profile of your clients.
Yeah. So typically, revenue size, we generally people doing 300, 400, 500,000 a year up to 5 to 10 million is kind of the range, right? If you're just starting, you probably don't need us yet. If you're at 10 million and up, you probably have an in-house team. Um, and then as far as niches, we're big in e-commerce. That's one of our biggest categories. We have a lot of sellers who sell on Amazon, Shopify, Etsy, etc. We do have some SaaS businesses and other online businesses. And then we also have some specialties in with dentists. We have a lot of dental practice clients. We have a lot of small law firm clients. So we found it's better to find some niches, really dive in, understand the specific problems of those types of business owners and be able to serve them as a group rather than just sort of take all comers, whoever walks in the door. Oh, we'll see what we can do for you. Because each industry, each niche really has its own specific needs, its own problems, its own challenges. And by becoming an expert in a handful of those, we can serve those clients better. As soon as they say, oh, I'm an Amazon seller, I can say, great, then you're probably having this problem and you've seen that challenge. And over time, you've seen the fees go up and they go, yeah, wow, you really understand my business. And we do, and that makes us better able to help them than if, one day it's a restaurant, the next day it's a gas station. You don't really have any focus.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And by doing that, you can bring a lot of value to the same category because you know what are some write-offs or other areas that they can, look at their business to be able to save some money, and all that becomes new margin for them and more money in their pocket. That's great. Um, in our previous conversation, you told me a little bit about the scale of the business. How many employees do you have, and how did you grow from, a one man, hey, I've got an idea, to where you are today?
Right. So right now we have over 1,000 clients, and our headcount is at about 70. We've got employees all over the U.S. We're based in San Diego here, but the majority of our folks work 100% full-time remote, and we have clients all over the U.S. Um, and really, I mean, like most businesses, even at our size, a lot of it is still word of mouth and referrals, right? Somebody comes to us, they say, hey, you guys did a great job. I have a couple other friends, they're in a similar business, or I'm in a Facebook group or what have you. And it just grows that way. Of course, we try to do some marketing and outreach and things like this podcast as an example. But really, it's doing a good job that is the best marketing that you can have, right? You can be great at running ads and pulling leads and have a sales funnel and all that. But if your product or your service isn't really up to par, you're going to be losing customers out the back door as fast as you pull them in. On the other hand, if you're doing a great job, right, that is a huge component of your marketing piece, right? Because you can say, okay, if you're happy with us, I'm sure you know one or two other people. Every customer you bring in is worth two or three referrals at least. So, but you've got to make them happy, right? You've got to do a good job and want them to be willing to bring their friends to you, right? Because if they're not happy with the work, the last thing they're going to do is bring anybody over. So, I mean, that doing a great job is the number one marketing thing I think any business can do. And then obviously beyond that, there's more proactive things you can do to get your name out there. But that's our secret sauce, if you will, is just doing a great job and, really making sure that we take care of our clients.
Very cool. Yeah, 1,000 clients, and managing those clients like that with a team of 70 or so is really impressive. It sounds to me like by being able to scale that kind of a business, you've built a lot of processes and systems in place. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like, how did you grow from, people are always so fascinated about how do I scale my business and go from, first stage to second, third, and fourth, and so forth. You guys have evolved quite a bit. So tell me a little bit about that growth trajectory and things that you did to help you grow.
Yeah, I mean, I knew from the very earliest days, from having run lots of other businesses, that if you don't have good systems in place, every day is a fire drill, right? Every day is a disaster, and you're just trying to get through the day. So even when it was literally just me, I started making myself checklists and procedures. This is how I'm going to do this. Step one, step two, don't miss anything. And then as soon as you hire your first employee, or at least for me, I wrote a very complete job description. Here's everything I want you to be responsible for. Here's the things I want you to do in this order. So one, I knew I was hiring the right person because I knew what I wanted them to do. And two, the expectations were set clearly for them. Okay, here's what you're going to do, and here's what I'm going to keep. And then as you keep adding employees and building out your org chart, you continue to do that. Okay, I'm going to take this off of this person and add this person, but everything is systematized and organized. And I always try to avoid, as you grow, any single points of failure, right? Because I see it all the time with our clients, right? They've got 15 people, but there's one person. If that person leaves, the whole thing falls apart. So, you always want to kind of think about cross training and backups, or at least I think it's important to do that, and just make sure that this is your baby, right? This is your source of income, and you're living, and you're creating this thing of value. So you don't want to have it all resting on either you as the owner. You can be a single point of failure too. You want to take as much of that off yourself as you can as quickly as possible. So you can take a vacation once in a while, or if something comes up, you get bad case of COVID, you're out for a couple weeks, right? You don't want the whole thing to fall apart. So I'm a huge believer in systems and processes and documentation. And you're not going to get it right the first time. You're going to iterate and continue to improve, and it's going to evolve over time. But if you just have nothing, right? One, it's very hard to bring somebody on because they go, well, what do you want me to do? Well, I don't know. It's all in my head, right? Now they're not much help to you. And it's hard to manage somebody when they don't know what you want to do. So I started it on day one with the idea, let's see how big we can grow this thing. And I knew the only way that would happen is by having a process, having procedures, having a way that we did things that could evolve over time, but there had to be a way. Otherwise, it just was never going to go anywhere.
I love that approach. And it's such a great way to scale a business. And you have to have processes. My personal way of operating a business is if I have to do it 3 times, I have a system for it.
Mhm.
Gotta do that. It's really cool. And I think that that's also very attractive to new customers, right? When you talk to new clients, tell me about that new client call. So somebody says, hey, my friend referred me to you. I run this kind of business. How can you help me? Talk to me a little bit about what that presentation looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we always want to do a discovery call with any potential new client to first make sure that one, we understand what they want, and two, that we can serve that need, right? Because if we can only do part of it, I want that to be super clear. Look, we can help you with A and B, but C we don't do. And if you need somebody who can do A, B, and C, we're not a fit, right? I want to tell anybody that we can't serve and meet their expectations immediately. Hey, we're not going to be the right fit for you. So that way we don't engage and we get 3 months into it and they're disappointed and frustrated and we're frustrated. And, it becomes now we're trying to salvage it and get out of it without, a bad review or, bad outcomes right across the board. So it's always, what do you need? What are you looking for? Can we be a fit for that? If we can, here's our proposal. Here's how it would work, what we do for you. Set expectations clearly. Look, we're not going to get, 4 years of bookkeeping done for you by Friday, right? It's not going to happen. If that's what you're looking for, let me tell you right now, that's not going to happen. But here's what we can do. Here's an expectation we can set that we can meet. And then if that all works out, great. Then we actually have a client services team, which I think is unique in the accounting business. Normally, if you and I were to engage, you said, hey, I need help with my taxes, you would immediately be talking to a tax person who's going to start drilling you with questions and everything. We actually send everybody first to a client services team who it broadens that scope. What are we doing for you? What do we need to get from you? What do we need to give to you? They work on getting you set up and onboarded successfully. So then we can work with you to complete your project as opposed to just jumping right into the technical end of things and you're not prepared or set up. We don't have access. You don't have our client portal. So we really approach everything from a customer service first standpoint. And I think that probably is because of my all through high school, college, after college, I worked in restaurants and their customer service is the whole deal, right? So I came to it from a customer service standpoint. I think a lot of accounting folks come to it from a technical standpoint, right? They're technically maybe excellent at accounting, not so much on the customer service part. And the clients all are looking at the customer service. They don't really understand the technical accounting side, but they know if you treated them well, they know if you got back to them quickly, they know if you answered the questions thoroughly, if you set good expectations. So we try to make sure we're covering both sides.
Very cool. Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned your portal as well, which made me think that, a lot of your processes also likely are using software to be able to scale that. Talk to me a little bit about that. How do you engage with your clients and what's the software experience there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've actually built our own sort of bespoke CRM that manages our projects and works with our clients. And if somebody comes to us and says, hey, I want to bring by a box of receipts, right? You know what? We're not a good fit for you. If that's kind of the level you want to work at, um, we're not set up to scan all your stuff. We'd have to charge you an inordinate amount to do all that paper sort of stuff. If you're interested and you're open to it, we can show you how we can do a lot of that digitally, right? We can log into your bank account with third-party view-only access and get all that stuff. You don't need the shoebox. If you're dead set on that, there's some 70, 80-year-old CPAs still around. They'd love to work with you because that's what they do too. But we want to not spend time and not bill customers for things like data entry and processes that software really has already solved in the world. The cloud accounting is the way everything's going. Let's merge into that world if you're not there already, and save your time and save your effort, and then we can spend more time doing the advisory piece and helping you with the higher level questions, and not time and billing on data entry and things that just don't add a lot of value. So we made the decision early to be sort of a tech forward firm, and a lot of our clients, I think, really appreciate that. And the ones that don't want to do that, again, we're probably not a fit then.
Love that. Yeah. And so that brings me to my next question, which is, accounting is a, uh, for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty standardized kind of business. How are you differentiating yourself from your competitors? And talk to me a little bit about what differentiates your company from others.
Right. And it definitely can feel like a commodity. At the end of the process, if all you're looking for to get out of it is a profit and loss statement or a completed tax return, there's not much difference. It's really the experience and what it took for the customer to get that end product from us. And a lot of accounting firms, again, they're not particularly customer service focused. You email them or call them 3 weeks later, you finally get a call back, if at all, and they didn't even answer the question that you asked. So for us, we try to, again, focus on the customer experience, make it as easy as possible, as thorough as possible, and take the time to answer and address those questions that they're thinking about. Because for a lot of our folks, we find that they've got a lot of weight on their shoulders. Wow, I haven't done bookkeeping in 6 months. I'm so far behind. This is going to be such a painful process. Oh no, we can take that off. We can make it easy. We can take that pain away and give you a great result for a reasonable price. And oh gosh, this is so much peace of mind. Thank you so much for helping on that. It's that conversation and that understanding where they're coming from and what problem they're trying to solve and how we can solve it for them. That's the human element, the customer service element that we bring to it, that a lot of accounting firms just don't seem to get. They kind of, they'll, again, from a very technical side, okay, well, you need this, you need form this, you need bank statements X, Y, and Z, and if you give us all that, then we'll work with it and we'll give you something back. And like, oh my gosh, that still sounds like a lot of work on my end and doesn't sound like you're going to help me out very much with it. So that's a big differentiation for us. Another one is pricing. We do everything fixed, flat fee, and we tell you before we even engage, okay, this project is going to be this much down, this much on completion, this fixed amount monthly to keep it up for you. If that sounds good, great, let's get started. If not, no problem. A lot of firms still work on the hourly bill, or retainer up front, and then we'll bill you hourly. And you go, well, how much? They go, well, I don't know how many hours it's going to take. Well, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000? I go, well, I don't know. Well, that makes me nervous as a customer to say, I don't know what this is going to cost or how many hours you're going to rack up trying to do it. So they come to us and I go, this is it. This is exactly what it's going to cost to do exactly what you're asking for. And if that works for you, great. And it won't be a penny more. Oh, that's so reassuring to know what I'm getting into before I even start. So things like that really make us stand out, and really it's what the customers want. So that's what we're trying to deliver.
Very cool. That's so great. It's so comforting to know that, because when you're going into a financial relationship, especially on the accounting side, it is a little bit of like, how long is a piece of string kind of conversation. And
Right.
to know that you have a fixed kind of model going into it, I can imagine that's it's really material in helping clients feel assurance and, okay, I know what I'm getting into. I know what I'm going to get from this. Tell me a little bit about where you're going as a business. You mentioned advisory services earlier. Um, Talk to me a little bit about the growth of the company, where you see it going.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're at the tip of the iceberg of clients that we could, potentially serve. I'm excited personally to see, yes, we've gotten to a lot of growth, but out of 1,000 clients, there's 5 million small businesses that fit in our criteria of 500,000 to 5 million. So, we haven't even scratched the surface. And I think with our offering of, great customer service, fixed flat rate pricing, and the advisory component, I think there's nothing stopping us from achieving 5x, 10x growth from where we're at now. It's just a matter of getting the message out, adding people to the team to continue to serve everyone at the same level we're serving them now. But I think there's a huge opportunity, and I think there's infill that's going to happen because it's been in the news even a lot. The current CPA population, they're really aging out all the time. They're retiring or even passing away. So a lot of people in the next 10 years are going to be looking for a new accounting solution, and there's going to be a lot of old school traditional accounting firms to choose from, and then there's going to be a handful of firms like ours that are going to be so much more than just here's your tax return, here's your P&L. They're going to be this much more holistic advisory solution to help these small business owners really get the most out of their business. And I think by coming into the market with that kind of approach over the next 10 years, you know, we've got a huge opportunity to really grow our business by serving so many other businesses.
Very cool. And so as we're talking about growth, one of the things I'm thinking about is what are the drivers of that growth? Knowing being a content marketing company ourselves, we love and appreciate when people do a good job at content marketing, and you guys have done that. Your SEO is growing, and it's great to see. Tell me a little bit about how content marketing has played a role in your growth.
Definitely, and it's one of the key things that we do. I've been on a lot of different podcasts and YouTube channels and things as a guest talking about things that we see businesses do that business owners can use to help themselves improve their situation, reduce their taxes, improve their management decision making with good financial reporting. And every time I do it, I'm not pitching CapForge. I'm just saying, hey, if you're a business owner and you're looking at your profit and loss, here's 5 things you should look for. Or you're looking at a balance sheet, here's some tips on how to make sure you're getting good numbers. Or when you go to pay your taxes, here's 5 tax tips most small business owners miss. And that education, whether they come to us as a client afterwards or not, I think is providing a lot of value. And I hear a lot of great feedback. Hey, thanks so much. That was super valuable. That was really helpful. I hadn't heard that from anyone else before. And that does create a certain amount of interest and follow on leads for us as a business. Hey, I heard you on that podcast. You gave a lot of great information. I'd be interested in finding out more, potentially becoming a customer. Great. Let's continue the conversation. So for us, I think it's a super valuable way to, you know, provide value up front before requesting anything, before trying to sell anybody anything, before trying to engage any customers. Just saying, look, here's a lot of stuff we'd love to give you just for free to help you out as a small business owner. If you found value there and you want to have a further conversation, great, here's where to reach us. And it's been a tremendous approach for us to be able to really drive value and bring new customers in versus more of a hard sell or a straight lead generation approach or something. So I think it's going to feature largely in our ongoing marketing efforts to continue to do that.
I love it. I'm such a big proponent of businesses that lead with value and that, just give a ton of value up front. It demystifies what you do. It helps to build a relationship with your new customer to be. It helps establish trust in that relationship. Those are all, really important things when you're working so closely, especially in an intimate business like accounting. And this is really like my money, right? So,
Right.
it's a really important aspect of that. I guess my last question for you is, as you're looking into the future and you're looking in the crystal ball here, a year from now, where would you like to be, and what are some things that you'd like to see with the business from between now and then?
So over the next year, the goal is really just to continue to scale up in particular. So, I'd say the bookkeeping is the thing we've been doing the longest, and we've got the best we've really refined that process. I think it's pretty bulletproof. What we're working on scaling up is our tax side, which has sort of been a medium term project that we're still continuing to grow. And then the advisory service specifically is our newest thing that we've really, we're trying to um, define the offering better. We've got a lot of things we can help clients with. What we want to try and figure out is what are the ones that add the most value for the most number of clients, and really make sure that that's part of our package that we're offering to everybody, and just building that out. A lot of it has been, more one-off conversations. I'm always happy to talk to any client or potential client about their business and how we might be able to help, or some ideas for them to think about growth and implementation. But being able to scale that up and serve more clients with the holistic package versus just the bookkeeping or the bookkeeping and the tax, that's really the big goal for 2024, is just to be able to roll that out to more people, because all the ones we have engaged with in that full way, I think, have benefited the most. They've been the happiest. They've seen the best results and the fastest growth. So it just makes sense to make that more available to more people, as quickly as we can. So that's our goal for 2024.
Great stuff. Great stuff, Matt. And for anybody who's listening, how do people find you, and what's the best way for them to get in touch with you to say, I'd like to be your next customer?
Definitely. Definitely. So the best place to find out more is the website, capforge.com. It's got all our information. It's got, lots of good blog info and free resources. It discusses all our services, and the pricing's right on there, so people can see exactly what to kind of expect from us. And then if that's of interest, absolutely reach out, email us, info@capforge.com, give us a call. The phone number is on the website, and, we'll get back to you immediately. We'll have a conversation. And again, if we're a fit, if we can, help get you where you want to be and it makes sense for you, we'd love to work together. If you just want some advice, you just want to have a quick call, or have some general questions, even if we can't sign you up as a customer today, no problem. Like I said, I'm happy to talk to anybody. And if we can help, great. Down the road, maybe you'll come back, or maybe somebody else that you'll send us someday. I'm a big believer in that karmic circle, right? I'll help you today, and somehow, some way, it'll come back to me, whether, through you or something else, or even if not, right? You just put it out in the world and good things happen. So, please feel free to check out the website and reach out if you're interested.
Thanks so much, Matt. It's been a pleasure to talk with you. Matt Remuzzi from CapForge. Go check him out. Thank you,
Thanks
Matt.
for having me. Yeah, thank you.
All right, my pleasure.